Donk Nation, Jackson, Janet's greetings and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. It's your boy the Viking Donkey bringing you some Steelers talk after a week one shellacking. Steelers finally get a home game to open the year, and well, things couldn't have gone much worse. I am joined by Laskers. I am joined by Gingy. It is time for some Steelers talk. Let's try not to get jumping off this cliff just yet, boys. Is that fair?
I think that's fair.
Gingy here. That's a week one no call, no show. Donkey.
Yeah, no show, but the injuries certainly are for real. I mean, losing Cam Hayward for 8 weeks, big. Losing Deontay Johnson, one of the few receivers who gained separation, really big. But this week, home game again, I believe, Monday Night Football. The Cleveland Stains are coming. I mean, Browns are coming to Acrisure, Gingy. Excited?
Yes, absolutely excited to see some AFC North football. Who wouldn't be, Donkey?
Laskers, you know the Steelers still could be the first place Steelers after this week. All we need is a Steelers wins and a Bengals win. We're right there.
Oh, yeah, we can be, but we need to maybe show up for the game. You know, besides TJ, you know, that's the only person I saw that showed up last week.
There were a couple, and I'll get into them a little later. But first, I want to start the show off now with a kind of new segment here. It's going to be a little fun. I'm going to get Lasker's and Gingy's opinions of my takes. We're going to call it Nickels and Dimes, Trash or Cash. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 5 points on offense, 5 points on defense. I'll ask Gingy and Laskers about each one. They'll get to evaluate it. First, by starting with the trash call or the cash call. Trash is they think that opinion's dumb, and Donkey, you don't know what you're talking about. Cash is, dude, that's right where it is. That's how you make it. And then we're going to end the offense and defense segment with the dimes. That's why it's nickels and dimes. The dimes from Laskers, the dimes from Gingy. Those takes that are just so on point, you got to rewind and listen to them again. So, gents, you ready for some new segment, a little new life for the 2023 football season?
Absolutely.
Let's rock and roll.
Absolutely not. All right, fair, Laskers.
Rock and
Just
roll.
because of that, we're going to start on offense, and the first call is going to Laskers. Laskers, the offensive line got no push. This is going back on 2 years now where they seem to really struggle early in the year. Is this a cause for concern? Is this a good take, bad take? Yes, trash.
This is definitely trash. I mean, how the hell did we not have a first down till less than 2 minutes in the first half? I mean, that's definitely trash. That's bad.
All right, that's fair, and I absolutely agree. Let's get on to point number 2. Gingy, I want to go to you on this one. Kenny Pickett has a bad day. Are you buying that Kenny Pickett is absolutely done and this is who he is? Or are you going to call this just a one-off and let's see what happens?
So am I trying to trash or cash your opinion on that? So what's your opinion,
It's not my
Donkey?
opinion on it, but yes, is it a trash opinion or a cash opinion that Kenny Pickett's washed?
That's a trash opinion. All right. Let's take a look. There are quarterbacks that perennially have a slow start. Okay, we need to see some consistency from Kenny Pickett, but the way you end is much more important than the way you start. A 30-7 loss is the same as a 7-3 loss, in my opinion. And when we look at what Kenny Pickett was doing, he threw the ball 46 times, which is really going to be un-Steeler-like football.
Like
Hopefully, yes. Playing from way behind the whole game. This is not what the game plan is, right?
So you're saying we should be a little calmer like Buffalo Bill fans and not saying that Josh Allen needs to be traded after 3 interceptions and losing to Zach Wilson because Aaron Rodgers played, 2 snaps as a Jet?
4.
Thank you, Laskers.
Yeah. I am saying that the opinion that Kenny Pickett is a wash is trash.
Can I add to this?
Go ahead.
So my biggest problem is preseason. How the hell can a player be prepared with 16? I think that's what he had. 16 snaps.
Well, I'll say this: He took a lot
garbage.
more snaps than almost every other starting quarterback in the NFL.
You're okay. I'll honor that, but what the hell's the point of preseason if you're only going to let your quarterback play for 16 snaps? Now,
week
I don't
one
remember
is the preseason.
So I don't remember who told me this. It was one of my friends that said, "You know what? Let's put flags on the quarterback during preseason so they get more snaps." I am totally in favor of that. That's a great plan. Let the quarterbacks actually play a little bit more.
We need to go the way of college football. There just needs to be no preseason. It really makes no sense. Players just get hurt and make it the 18-game season with no preseason. Get over and done with it. Laskers, on to you. Trash or cash take here. The wide receivers cannot get separation. You saw it in the game. Is that a true statement going forward, or is that a trash statement going forward?
I'm hoping it's a trash, but the way that we saw this week, I think it's a cash money, and I hope that that's not the true statement, but right now that's what it looks like.
Gingy, on to you. Matt Canada again fails to score 20 points. Matt Canada's offense, trash or cash?
Ooh, Donkey getting spicy early in the season. Really hate to get that rabble, based solely on the game plan that they fell behind.
How about
so
some
early.
razzle dazzle, Gingy?
There was no razzle dazzle. Remember when I talk about explosion? That was what the Niners
There was no
were doing.
explosion.
Donkey, based on one game assessment, that opinion is cash, but it is yet to be determined.
Laskers, last one for the offense gets to go to you. Pat Freiermuth, I know he caught the touchdown, but he dropped another touchdown. Pat Freiermuth, the most unclutched tight end in Steelers history. Trash or cash?
What's in the middle? Because that's what I want to pick. Right now, mediocre. I don't know. I don't have any other opinion besides mediocre, and so I would lean towards the trash side because he has missed so many plays in the last few years.
So now, before we get to the nickels and dime side of the defensive ball, Gingy, Laskers, we'll start with Gingy. Just give us some of what the Steelers did on offense and how you felt about this game.
Steelers looking real sloppy. It's looking real sloppy on offense. That is the cash opinion right there. From the top
dime,
to the bottom.
That's Gingy's dime.
Nah, yeah, there is a dime to be said there. But like offensive line, no push, covered it. Wide receivers, no separation. Always playing from behind, getting real outside the game plan. Dislike from start to finish.
Laskers, your dime on offense.
There is no way I can go cash on this. That offensive line, offense, period, looks real sus. And it doesn't make me feel good at all. And, I'm the only one that picked against the Steelers last week because, I was concerned about... What's that?
That smart man.
Just because I just don't... I just don't see the coaching there. It's not there. There's something wrong.
Yes. Here's the real dime piece, Donkey. Here's the real dime piece. Got to come in with a positive spin. The only score of the game came at the time when you do need a score at the game, like putting one in at the end of the half. Really wish we could have had a stop on that opening drive in the third quarter.
Not a 70-yard touchdown.
Yeah, not that. A stop there, again.
Momentum, baby.
Pace and momentum. And at that point, you were within reach. But when they come out and answer definitively like that, you're pretty much gassed. And yeah, but that's the dime right there.
Oh, no. I got one more dime. One more dime. It's really bad when the 49ers defense says, we were praying that they got a first down so that we can get a rest.
That was the 49ers left tackle, Trent Williams, by the way.
I guess offense. Yeah.
He's like, as we talked about last pregame, he's like 70 years old, so yeah, dude needed a break. Now let's get on to the nickels and dimes on the defensive side. Gingy, I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to give you the easiest softball in the world. TJ Watt, good at football, trash or cash?
That's cash. Absolutely. Did you see he disrupting the game throughout again? We're talking about what was it? 2.5 or 3 sacks, forced fumbles, and just absolutely disruptive of the offensive game plan.
Hopefully, he can get 48 for the year. That's what he's at. That's what he's on pace for.
That's the pace. That's the pace.
Laskers, I'm going to give you one that's going to put you on a controversial side one way or the other. Cam Hayward's injury is going to be the straw that breaks the defense's back, trash or cash.
I'm actually going to go cash on that. That injury is huge. We need Cam Hayward more than we should need him. We have no one that can fill that place.
That's perfectly agreed with. And now we'll go back to Gingy on the cash or trash takes. This one's a fun one. Alex Highsmith, worst run-stopping Steeler outside linebacker in modern history. Trash or cash?
Ooh, outside linebacker in modern history. Trash or cash?
The other question
trash.
Is Steelers or other teams?
Trash.
Just the Steelers.
Trash. A majority of Steeler outside linebackers are not good at stopping the run in modern day history.
No. Bud Dupree, James Harrison, Lamar Woodley, those guys set an edge, and they set an edge. But fair take. Laskers, I'm going to go to you. The secondary.
Bud Dupree didn't set no edge. Get that out of here.
The loss of Cam Sutton and Terrell Edmonds is going to be the biggest loss from the Steelers offseason. Trash or cash?
I don't actually know how to answer that because that's a huge loss. Our secondary looked garbage, so I guess that would be cash on your question.
Yep. Cash is that they were the big loss and it hurts. Yep.
Yeah, no, and it definitely hurts because that secondary looked not good.
Gingy, last one, plain and simple. Minkah Fitzpatrick becomes a box safety and disappears. If the Steelers continue to use their safeties this way, a la Damontae Casey as a center fielder and Minkah Fitzpatrick as a box safety, Minkah Fitzpatrick becomes the most overpaid safety in football. Trash or cash?
That's cash. That's him out of position. All right. Any of these guys, they get paid large amounts for their specialist position. You take them out of position, they're not as effective. And you're right. Minkah is one of those ball hawking guys, those instinct guys who are always going to be, reading the field, reading the play. Doesn't perform as well in a run stuffing role. That's cash. He'd be super overpaid if we continue to play him in that way. If we have to.
So I got one question.
Laskers, you get to say whatever you want about the defense starting
it's
right
a question.
Now,
it's a question.
Dimes.
It's a question. Did you guys see what I posted today from that was supposedly what Minkah did? He roped off the Steelers sign in the middle of the locker room because that's how much pride he has in the team.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah. That guy wants to play.
That's a dime.
Laskers, you get to start with your dimes on defense. What was your take of the overall? What's the opinion here?
On defense, the only person that showed up this week was TJ. I mean, there's no one else on defense that was even close. Now, Hayward getting hurt, that hurts,
Yeah, certainly. Gingy, your dime on defense.
The dime on defense, Donkey, and this is what I started it off with by talking to you, that why, after all this talk of new, are we still seeing the same old Steelers? Cannot stop the run, cannot cover the seam, cannot Do it. 30 points allowed.
Fire everyone.
Even with our superstar.
I'm on board.
Being a superstar. He did exactly the superstar thing. Somebody has to come together around that and get a stop. Holy smokes, that's my dime. I can't believe we talked about knew this, knew that. That's the same old Steelers I've seen, donkey.
I want to throw a dime out there, too. No one on that defensive line played worth a darn. Everyone got ran over, starting with Montravius Adams, starting with every run's right at Alex Highsmith, which drives me absolutely insane. Let's go to the secondary, where Brandon Ayuk might as well have changed his name to Jerry Rice Jr. because, well, Patrick Peterson talked a lot of trash, got burned. Levi Wallace looked like a man lost, absolutely out of position. And then, to me, and this sums up the Steelers in a nutshell, early in the game, chance to change momentum, 3rd and 1, Landon Roberts makes a great stop. Oh my gosh, maybe we have a middle linebacker. 4th and 1 comes. Who's the guy who gets torched by Christian McCaffrey? None other than Landon Roberts. And now everyone's trying to tell you how good of a linebacker he is because he made one stop but then got burned the next play. That, to me, sums up everything you need to know about this game. The Steelers thought they were something, and then the Niners showed them what that something really is. Fair?
Yeah, definitely fair.
And, side note, we didn't get to talk about the special teams here because Nickels and Dimes doesn't really. But Shankopotamus showed up again, Gingy. Punter who can't seem to punt it. I heard Brad Wing is in Pittsburgh trying out. I mean, he's a dude who hasn't punted since 2017. Hopefully he's over all those substance abuse problems that has really kept him from performing in the NFL. But he's a guy who punted better than Shankopotamus has in his career. And I want to get your take on that, and then I want to give you the 3 Steelers I thought had a good game.
Donkey, you know what? If we put a sustained drive together, we don't have to worry so much about a freaking punter, do we? All right.
Yes,
we can't do that.
In the fairy tale awesome Steeler land, yes, that would be the ideal situation.
Fairy tale. This is a reality that if it doesn't come true, donkey, this is going to be a long season.
Matt Canada has scored less than 20 points with 3 different starting quarterbacks. 70% of the games he has been offensive coordinator.
This is the blip in my radar. Okay, the blip. Okay,
I hope
this is the pothole. Right. Somewhere other than Pennsylvania because the potholes here are everywhere, but just an anomaly somewhere. Okay, donkey, just a little bump in the road. All right, this is not a pattern that we need to see any more than once.
All right, we're going to have another little fun segment right before we get into talking about the next game. It's going to be called the 3 stars of the game. I'm going to name 3 stars. You guys tell me if you agree, disagree, and who you would put in their place. Number 1, obviously, TJ Watt. No doubt about it. The dude had a monster game. Let's get down to number 2, though. Maybe this will be a questionable thing. How about a kick return that actually went forward? Anthony McFarland, you deserve a shout-out because not only did you have a great day returning the kicks, you also caught a 4th down conversion. Kudos to him, sticking around with this team, being a practice squad guy off last year, having to go out and go. And then number 3 for me, it was hard to pick a third one, but watching Bosa get pancaked by our rookie Darnell Washington, yes, sir, that is what I want to see from that huge tight end. Laskers, what'd you think of him?
Oh, I definitely like that play, but I'm going to go TJ, of course. That was my X factor last week. You know what? I'm actually going to throw Najee on this. Even though he only had 6 carries.
All of his yards on 1, but he broke a 20-yarder. Let's go.
He averaged 5.2. And you know what? The other one I'm going to throw into that bus that did a good job is Allen Robinson.
Bro had 0 yards until 4th quarter garbage time, Laskers. I got to kick that can away.
Well, he still had more yards than most of our other wide receivers.
DJ was the only guy who got separation. Gingy, how'd you feel about the 3 stars? Is Gingy alive? Gingy, are you alive?
Gingy, you there?
I would definitely go. Yeah, sorry, muted. All right. You didn't want to hear the cat caterwauling in the background during that. I apologize. Did. Nah, no one did.
It would have been fun.
I agree more with Laskers on this one. I have somewhat of a change at the end. I really do like to see. I like TJ. I do like Najee at number 2. I do like to see the 20-yarder broken, right? I think that momentum like that, if we were not playing from behind the whole game, I'd like to see him fresh too. You know, Christian McCaffrey got a chance to shine. If we would have been playing with a big lead, Najee would have had that opportunity as well. And yeah, a third one is pretty difficult on that. McFarland would probably fall into my third. I think he fell into your second, Donkey.
Mm-hmm.
And the average of the 30-yard return with one being broken pretty well there.
Everyone past the 25 was pretty sweet.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah, those would be my 3.
That's good. That's a wrap on this game. There's nothing else to be said. Don't tie a bow on it. Throw it in the garbage. Whatever you want to do. Let's get to Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Let's break it down by the numbers. The teams have now Pittsburgh's series lead as we went 1-1 last year. Both teams won at home. The Steelers hold an 80-62 winning record with one tie in there. At home, the Steelers are 50-22 against the Browns. Away, they're 30-40-1. The largest win, of course, was Cleveland by 51 points in 1989. Pittsburgh's biggest win was 43 points in 1999. Both of those games were shutouts, so yeah, that's fun. The largest streak in the series was Pittsburgh at 12 from 2003 to 2009 because Ben Roethlisberger doesn't lose to the Browns. Cleveland's biggest streak was 8. You had to go all the way back to 1950 to 53. My goodness gracious, I'm surprised they were keeping stats back then, I'll be honest with you. The current streak, of course, is Pittsburgh by 1, as our last meeting on the 8th of January was a Steelers win 28-14 at Acrisure Stadium. The Steelers have never lost to the Browns in a stadium named Acrisure. I thought that was a pretty fun fact I would throw out there. But it's Steelers, it's Browns, it's AFC North football, it's everything you want to see in the ground 'em pound 'em style. The problem, Gingy, the ground and pound 'em style doesn't seem to favor the Steelers anymore.
No, definitely wouldn't. I'll tell you what, if the Browns looked listen, the Browns didn't look sharp last week. They did come out with a win, right?
But Nick Chubb's a man. Nick Chubb's a man, Gingy.
That's and that is the biggest number one take right there for me, Donkey. If we're projecting forward, his performance will dictate the outcome of that game. And if he's able to play like Christian McCaffrey did last week, that would not bode well.
Laskers, going into you, let's start with the injury news. Jack Conklin, huge, great right tackle for the Browns, injured, out for the year on IR. That means rookie out of Ohio State, DeJuan Jones, all 6'8", 370 pounds of him, is about to be starting against TJ Watt. That should be a huge plus for the Steelers.
It definitely should be a huge plus, but we got to see what happens, you know.
TJ needs help.
I hope TJ can get through a lot. That's what I hope for.
TJ needs help.
When you look at the Browns last week, Ginger, they only passed for 154 yards, but they run for 206. Nick Chubb was out there. Watson was running better than he was throwing, but they do have a pretty decent skill position group to talk about. Amari Cooper, a lot of people call him the borderline one, kind of like Deontay Johnson. Donovan Peoples-Jones never seems to do anything unless it's against the Steelers, and he tends to torch us, so that's fun. They add the speedster Elijah Moore from the Jets in there. They always have David Njoku, who's just a matchup nightmare for the Steelers. You look at this team on offense, is there a big area of concern for you outside of Chubb?
Tight end matchup, Njoku. I think he's done us dirty before.
Yes.
And can't cover the tight end.
I don't want to see it. No, Laskers, no. Don't be talking like we got to have someone that does this.
Hey,
donkey.
Kittle didn't torch us.
Yeah. Isn't that a relief? Yeah, I don't know what to say to that, Donkey. Njoku worries me. That's
Laskers, let's get to the Steelers side of the football. Cam Hayward out. Larry Ogunjobi's dealing with a foot injury, but let's be honest, Larry Ogunjobi looks like a very bleh guy his whole time in the Steelers, but we decided to pay him because we were afraid of what else are we going to have. He didn't practice this week, so there's a good chance we're starting 2 new guys at tackle. That means you're looking at DeMarvin Leal, Isaiah Loudermilk, Armand Watts, maybe someone called up from the practice squad, maybe Keanu Benton sliding over a little bit, or Montravis Adams. The fact is, the Steelers got torched last week in the run, and I'm scared there isn't a way to fix it. These young guys have to step up, but none of these young guys have stepped up in the opportunities they've had so far. In the middle, a Landon Roberts doesn't look that good. Vaughn Alexander doesn't look that good. Honestly, I was out there saying, put in Mark Robinson, because at least that dude flies at the football. I'm very concerned with this Steeler front 7 not being able to stop the run. We know the pass rush is there. We know Highsmith can get sacks. We know Watt can get sacks. But let's be honest, neither of those 2 guys are good at stopping the run. And this week, maybe they need to be more focused on shutting down a running back than they are at getting to the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm definitely concerned. We got to stop the run. If we can't stop the run, the Browns are going to run all over us. They have a good running team, and it's scary.
Gingy, I want to get to you with the secondary here. Obviously, Minka needs to go back to playing center fielder, or my God, it's going to be terrible. But when the hell do we realize Levi Wallace and Patrick Peterson do not have the athleticism to cover a modern-day number 1 wide receiver? And when the hell does Joey Porter Jr. get a chance to see the football field?
I don't know when we're going to realize that, but hopefully it's pretty soon. Patrick Peterson got outclassed last game. Hopefully that's not like I said, just a blip on the radar, donkey. This is not going to become the pattern throughout the year. The Niners are a wagon. If they stay healthy, as last year, they would have. I think they had every chance of rolling the Eagles in the NFC Championship if they just had one person left to throw the ball. So, I mean, if they stay healthy, I think that's what I'm counting on. Right?
This is Gingy, fun note, rule change due to that. Once again, we're back to like the early 2000s. 3rd-string quarterbacks are allowed to suit up for the game, not be a part of the active roster, but get put in there if 2 quarterback injuries happen because of that Niners game. So, hey, Mason Rudolph gets to suit up every day this year, Gingy.
Woot. Wow.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Come on, you guys have to take some positive out of the shellacking that was the 49ers. Let's get
We
final
know
takes.
You love Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, everybody does.
Let's get final takes. Steelers defense versus Browns offense. Area for concern, or are the Steelers going to win this battle? Just that side of the ball.
It's definitely an area of concern, in my opinion.
Gingy?
Areas of concern, yes, specifically containing Watson and containing Chubb.
Fair enough. Now we're going to get to the Steelers on offense. We got to see a lot of 3-and-outs, which is a tendency that we have seen for the last few years here in Pittsburgh, and not something I'm sure anyone's really fond of unless you like watching the Steelers lose, in which case you are absolutely loving it and trying to push all the fans off the edge you possibly can. But the Browns have a lot of players, especially in the middle of that defense, on the injury list. You're talking Ika, Harris, Hurst, like all their defensive tackles essentially are showing up on that list except for Tomlinson, who's a new guy brought in. Good defensive tackle there. They lost Jadeveon Clowney, but replaced him with Zadarius Smith, who, when healthy, is an elite pass rusher. Last year was hurt. The 2 years prior, I think he averaged 13 sacks a season for Green Bay and Minnesota. So they got good edge rushers there. Denzel Ward's out there at cornerback. They got Walker in the middle, and he's a linebacker who could fly. I didn't even talk about the 2 Niners linebackers out there, Greenland and Warner. Those 2 guys just absolutely didn't let the Steelers get anywhere trying to go side to side. Walker's a very similar type of player here for the Browns. And you go to the Steelers, McFarland missed practice due to a knee injury. Deontay Johnson, we know, is out. Chuck's Okorafor's in concussion protocol. James Daniels limited in practice. Offensive linemen seem to be dropping like flies. Skill position players. Deontay was the only guy who got separation, and I'll get into my rant about Pickens here in a little bit. But this could be an area for big concern for the Steelers is shutting down that front seven, and unlike last week, giving Kenny Pickett more than 2 seconds to be able to do something. Gingy, is there a lot of concern here going into this matchup when we're on offense?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, Cleveland defense, you're right there. They're going to be pressing the passer. And last week we did have some concerns with the offensive line. Again, I think at the beginning of last season, we had similar concerns with the offensive line. That unit grew together as some of the new pieces that were added became more molded in.
And the second half of the schedule was really weak.
Yeah, Donkey. I hear you. But I'm telling you what, an offensive line unit needing to be step for step, it matters. It matters. That time and that his experience and those snaps matters. I'm concerned about what I saw, and they need to get it right fast, but I'm not without hopes that they can still put that unit together.
Laskers, these wide receivers create zero separation. Deontay Johnson was about the only guy who created any separation last week, and when he did, Kenny Pickett missed him a couple times and hit him a few times. Is there a big concern that the Browns are just going to stack the box with 8 and say, good luck getting separation here? Because, yeah, George Pickens can catch a football, but that dude's never open. That dude's always tightly covered. I guess you could say even tightly covered, he's open. But at what point does the lack of, I don't know if you want to call it the lack of execution by the wide receivers or the lack of play call ingenuity that isn't creating the separation, I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, where should we be concerned about the no separation we've seen now for about a year from Steelers wide receivers not named Deontay Johnson? Is this more on their ability or more on the play design?
I think it's more on the play design because most of the time we're not really running anything that's that complicated, and that's a concern. You know, we need to run something that actually fools the defense, and I haven't seen it lately.
Gingy, I want to go to you on this one. Dane Orlowski decides to point out, and yes, I love to make fun of Dane Orlowski anytime he tries to act like he's smart at football. Dude ran out of the back of the end zone and thought the play was still going on. Okay, neither here nor there. Dane Orlowski breaks it down, shows the fact that Matt Canada ran the same exact play 8 times and was unsuccessful 8 times. Uh-oh.
Cause for concern, absolutely, Donkey. Absolutely, in my opinion. Again, you got to give him more of a sample size than week 1, but if that pattern of play calling continues, it's more of the same. It's more of the same.
Certainly is. We're not going to let Kenny Pickett off the hook here. That dude was late. That dude was behind. Yeah, there was a pass rush, but we could question your coordinator. But that dude played a bad game. Laskers, we need to see more of that fourth quarter game-winning drive Kenny Pickett than this garbage time first 3 quarters Kenny Pickett we've been seeing for his first 13 starts. Is it time to maybe start getting a little concerned that Kenny Pickett doesn't have the ability to put together 4 good quarters?
Oh, it's definitely a concern. But actually, I'm not even going to say fourth quarter. Second quarter, 2-minute drive. That's where
End of half.
He actually looked good. That's
well,
where he
I
looked
say more
good.
Last year. All those game-winning drives he had.
Yeah, that's where he looked good. There's some concern here, without a question. I'm not. I know you're a Kenny Pickett fan, and it sounds like you're starting to be questionable about him.
He's still a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He needs to figure it out. He needs to be able to do it for 4 quarters, not 4 minutes.
I totally agree. Yes, I'm starting to see a little reason for concern here. But let's be honest. when you don't have wide receivers open, when you don't get more than 3 seconds in the pocket, things are hard. And when things are hard, quarterbacks struggle. You don't believe that? Look at Geno Smith his first 4 years in the Jets. And then look what happens when he goes to Seattle and it's time to throw the football. These quarterbacks, while we like to give them all the blame, Gingy, or give them all the credit, and you know, because you attacked me all the time about doing it to Roethlisberger, really, the team and the coaching staff needs to perform at a higher level, along with Kenny Pickett making the proper reads and proper throws, Gingy, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a complete unit, right? We saw a lot of different things. We saw a lot of different aspects of that team go wrong. It wasn't just one person or one player. They got their butts whooped on all sides of the ball.
Yes, they did. Laskers, Gingy, we're going to go ahead and just call this the final breakdown of the Steelers-Browns game. I want you guys to give me your big take, what you're looking for, what you expect to happen, and your X factor. Please don't give me a game prediction, although I know what you say is probably going to lead to how you're feeling. Laskers, let's start with you.
I'm hoping the wide receivers can break open, and my big X factor for the game is TJ being able to stop the run.
Fair. Gingy.
Yeah, X factor for me, Donkey. I'm looking at Donkey. Who's going to be subbing in for the middle for Hayward?
Loudermilk's the one who played in his spot last week.
That's got to be my X factor right there. How he performs up front, whether he gets any push or not, is going to dictate the pace and the tone, and hopefully he can next man up, step up, Donkey. X factor.
I love that you all are going X Factor should be stopping the Browns, but stopping the Browns is not what I see the Pittsburgh Steelers doing. I don't see us stopping Chubb. I'm not even sure we slow down Chubb. That means the X Factor has to be the man putting up the points. And I'm going to put this as a twofold. The X Factor has to be Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett getting on the same damn page, finding a way to make them both successful, and getting to that very elusive, explosive 30-point threshold. That's the way I see it breaking. That's the way it's going down. Any closing thoughts for you two about anything in the NFL before we get to our picks?
It sucks that Aaron Rodgers ruined his Achilles.
Gingy?
Yeah, a lot of I'm here. A lot of AFC champs, quote unquote, looking on the ropes after week 1. So we'll see.
Arguably the top 3 teams all 0-1. That's fair. As I said before, my goodness gracious, the Steelers could be in first place after this week because we have the Baltimore Ravens going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Laskers, who'd you like in this game?
Oh, boy. I think the Bengals are going to win that one by 7. I think they're going to turn it around.
Also, Laskers, kudos to being first in the picks right now at 2-1. Gingy, you're part of the losing record crew. We got to turn this around. Who you taking?
Give me the Ravens.
I, too, like the Ratbirds. So we are either coming for Laskers or he's about to extend that lead, baby.
Oh, no.
Gingy,
Oh, no.
Steelers, Browns. Give it to me.
Give me the Steelers, baby. Come on. Another one at Acrisure. We get another chance at it. Let feast. Let's go.
Laskers.
24-14 Browns.
All right, Laskers has a really good chance to take a big lead here because I, too, am going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. To me, this series recently, since Baker Mayfield got drafted, has always felt like the more hungry team is the one who wins the game. I feel the Steelers are the more hungry team this week. I feel, at least for a short period of time, the doubters get to put down some rest on the offense, but the questions about the defense get bigger. I like the Steelers 31, the Browns 28, and a farm burner making some good Monday Night Football. Because it's prime time, Gingy and Laskers. You gotta put on a show. And with that, time for some shout-outs. After a week like that, Gingy, Who'd you got?
No, not after a week like that. Try again next week.
Laskers?
The only person I'm going to shout out is TJ. You were my X Factor, and you fucking showed up. You deserve a shout out, buddy.
My shout out for this week is going to be the newly signed Des Fitzpatrick. Welcome to the Steelers active roster. Hopefully you're active on game day so I don't have to watch Gunnar Olszewski. Because, let's be honest, anyone who showed up on that field last Sunday is not getting a shout out from me. I'm kind of on par with Gingy on that one. If anything, there should be a call out section for the whole damn team. Laskers, Gingy, any closing thoughts before we send it away?
I got nothing.
No, sir. Hit that reset button.
That's true. And make sure when you hit that reset button that you set your YouTube homepage to your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger, because that's where you're going to find us. And I am the Viking Donkey. That's Viking_Donkey on Twitch and the X. Go ahead and leave us a like, comment, follow. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you'd like to hear. Tell us how great our predictions were last week. And by that, I mean only talk to Laskers, because he was the only one who was right. Laskers, how you doing?
It's the Laskers everywhere. And over to Gingy.
Do not panic. It's going to be a long season, folks. Let's keep them locked.
But
keep them loaded.
That ledge is so attractive.
Here, no, of course, panic and pandemonium, Donkey. That's not what this is going to be about. This is going to be steady Eddie football. The leaves haven't even changed color yet out there. What you talking about?
What the hell are you talking about, Gingy? The leaves are changing color.
I believe at the start of this episode, Gingy, we talked about how we're going to do a donkey style today. Well, that straight up is panic and pandemonium, as you like to say. So, ledge jumping galore is about to happen.
All right, panic and pandemonium it is, Donkey. Wave them if you got them, folks. Let's keep them warm. Get your extended towels out because it's Monday night football this week. All right, you gotta hang them over. Let's go.
You need your pink towel.
Here we go, Steelers.